When you think of Hollywood icons who redefined beauty, confidence, and raw star power, one name instantly comes to mind: Ann-Margret. Often called the female Elvis, she wasn't just another glamorous actress of her time, she was a force who blended talent, boldness, and sensuality into something unforgettable. What set her apart was not only her fiery performances but also the way she dared to step outside the box, leaving audiences stunned by her unapologetic presence. From the very first time she appeared on screen, Ann-Margret made it clear that she wasn't going to blend into the background. She was here to shine, to captivate, and to leave an imprint that would last for generations. People often whispered about how she bared it all, but what they were really noticing was her fearless attitude, her willingness to embrace glamour and confidence without hesitation, and her ability to turn even the simplest gesture into a headline moment. Her breakthrough role in Bye Bye Birdie wasn't just a star-making performance, it was the kind of cinematic explosion that told audiences a new kind of Hollywood woman had arrived. Then came her legendary pairing with Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas, a film that not only cemented her as a superstar but also gave the world one of the most electrifying on-screen duos in history. Ann-Margret wasn't just standing next to the king of rock and roll, she matched his energy, his charisma, and in many moments, even stole the spotlight. That level of magnetism is rare, and it's the reason she became such a lasting symbol of glamour. Whether she was singing, dancing, or simply flashing her signature smile, she pulled people in like no one else could. Of course, it wasn't just her talent that made her unforgettable, it was the way she carried herself. Ann-Margret had an aura that mixed elegance with bold sensuality. Her fiery red hair became a trademark, her daring wardrobe choices made headlines, and her natural confidence kept fans glued to the screen. She knew how to push boundaries, but always with grace. Photos and film moments where she revealed more than expected weren't about scandal, they were about celebrating beauty, strength, and femininity. She proved that a woman could be powerful and sensual at the same time without losing her class, and that combination made her stand out in an industry full of stars who often played it safe. What makes Ann-Margret's story even more inspiring is that behind the glamour, she was incredibly resilient. She faced career ups and downs, personal struggles, and even serious injuries, yet she never lost her spark. Instead of fading away, she reinvented herself time and time again, proving that true icons don't just rely on looks or a moment of fame, they have an inner fire that keeps them going. Her Golden Globe wins and Academy Award nominations were acknowledgments of her talent, but her real legacy lives in the way she made people feel. Generations who grew up watching her know exactly what it meant to see Ann-Margret on screen. It was magic. Even today, decades later, when vintage photos of her resurface, people stop and stare. There's a timeless quality about her beauty and presence that still makes fans gasp. Younger audiences who discover her now are often shocked by how modern she feels. Her fashion, her confidence, her energy, all of it could belong to a star in today's world. That's the power of someone who didn't just follow trends but set them. Ann-Margret didn't just bear her looks to the world, she bared her confidence, her determination, and her unique ability to embrace life fearlessly. That's why her name still carries weight and why her image continues to captivate. At the end of the day, Ann-Margret wasn't simply a glamorous starlet of the 60s and 70s, she was a trailblazer. She showed that beauty and strength aren't opposites, but two sides of the same coin. She proved that being bold doesn't mean losing elegance, and that being glamorous doesn't mean being unattainable. Her story reminds us that true icons are those who take risks, break molds, and embrace every part of who they are. And that's why, even now, people look back at her career with awe and admiration. Ann-Margret remains unforgettable, not just because of how she looked, but because of how she lived, how she performed, and how she left audiences mesmerized every single time she stepped into the spotlight.